Susie, thanks so much for being with us today. So can you tell me a little bit about who you are and what F&Co does?
Sure. Well, I think my most sort of major part of my career background was when I was head of marketing and brand strategy for Food Network and Cooking Channel. And I did that for 16 years. And
I'll fully admit, watch Food Network Star, some wise advice there.
Yeah, I had that kind of side hustle, which was I was a judge on this reality show for 11 years. While I was head of marketing for Food Network. So it was...
That's something many entrepreneurs here can identify with.
Right, juggling, many hats. And I left about 2 years ago and took a beat and thought, what's next for me? 16 years anywhere is a long run. And after that beat, I realized that food marketing is a thing. That the idea that brands are looking to connect with food culture is, for the most part, what I did at Food Network, right? All brands across many, many categories, and the idea that you would help them find a way not only to spend their media money, but create great stories within the footprint of Food Network. And when I got out, I said, I want to work with these brands and help them take advantage of the whole food ecosystem. And so F&Co was born.
So brands have a lot of things on their plates. They're worried about sales and employees and this. Now they have to worry about being storytellers too. Why does a brand have to be a storyteller in order to succeed nowadays?
Well, I think it's as old as the hills, storytelling, right? And there are many, many ways of doing that. But I think that before you can actually try someone's product, you have to know about their brand. And there's many ways to do that, but good storytelling, good content, is a pretty enticing way to get someone to sample. So we like to think of the food-connected consumer as a specific mindset, and this is from the eaters to the cooks. It's the whole spectrum. And from research, it's about half the country. So these are people that are passionate about food and food media. And that they have a specific mindset when they're making decisions and running, going through their day, their lives, is real. And so helping brands think about food culture and think about the food-connected consumer helps them find relevance in the marketplace. And that's the story. So story is really a strategy for how you make a connection to a food-connected consumer.
But it seems like it's not just about telling your story. It can't just be a one-way street where you're putting it out there and just, not listening to the consumer as well. Is it almost a dialogue?
Well, I think brands that do it well do create a level of engagement and interaction. What we try to do is think about what's trending in the marketplace. And this is either short-term and long-term trends. So what are people thinking about? What purchase decisions are they making? What is their mindset? So whether that's transparency or food traceability or culinary consciousness or global flavors, all the stuff that we know is in the zeitgeist, the food zeitgeist, if you will. Helping brands find their truth within those trends is the way to make the connection. And hopefully it is a conversation. I think that is the opportunity that social media affords. You can be in someone's life every day, and if the content is good and you inspire them or give them ideas, social media is the #1 place for recipes now, right? It's a great, great place to develop a connection, and I think a lot of brands are trying to get their consumers to share and engage and show that.
And so, it sounds like it's not just about putting your story out there and listening. You're really listening from the start. You're taking these data points in, and that's how you kind of develop your story, right?
Sure. I think another good brand signal is that it is consumer first. Okay. So it is when you think about mindfulness and transparency, and you think about where's that really coming from? Well, it's coming from the notion that people don't trust brands, and people are living in we're living in a mistrustful society. And they want to take control of their health, of how they eat, of the products that they buy, how they raise their children, more so now than ever. And I think that a brand that's transparent and truthful and is telling their story authentically, and not every brand can check all of those boxes. So it is about finding a way for brands to tell their truth in a compelling and interesting way that meets the needs of these consumers.
We have a lot of emerging brands here at NOSH Live. Is it somewhat easier for them to do this than some of the bigger brands? You mentioned people don't trust brands anymore.
I think mistrustful of.
Okay.
So I wouldn't go.
Sorry, mistrustful.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the need for people to uncover and discover. Small brands that are emerging, artisanal brands within specialty food, obviously, is one of the hottest categories in food today. And I wouldn't say that I think it's easy. What's hard? It's not easy. It's easier in some ways, right? Because the creation of a lot of these products comes from this idea that they are focused on the triple bottom line, right? It's people, it's the planet, and it's profit, right? And they're creating these products with that in mind. And that is a very powerful notion, and I think especially millennials can really get on board with that. So I feel like small brands can develop a story and a foundation that is authentic and that is right on time. The challenge is it's got to be interesting to more than two people, right? They have to scale. They have to find a way to scale, and I think that's their challenge. Hence, all the movement that we're seeing in big food, acquiring or incubating small food. I can offer you scale and distribution, and you can help me tell a relevant story within my portfolio.
I think that's really exciting to hear about emerging brands, because sometimes they can feel like, well, we have a smaller marketing budget, so it's harder for us to get out there and tell our story to begin with.
I think that's true. I think that's all true. But I do feel like great content breaks. So I often think, not surprisingly, that great content is fronted by great talent. And I don't necessarily mean celebrity chefs. I think it's proven that, gone are the days where one person tells you how to run your life, the Oprah effect or even the Martha Stewart effect then. It's about influencers. It's about your self-selected group of influencers. And those can literally be nobodies. So the idea that you could break through and reach someone, I mean, there's thousands of blogs. There's so much evidence that people can trust who they connect with. And I think that's an opportunity to introduce your brands. And obviously a lot of brands get that. Small brands are partnering with influencers. They're trying to create co-branded content within social with yet to be known faces and names. And I think this is, if you don't have a big marketing budget and you don't have a huge PR story, that's the way to lay the groundwork.
And that was one of the interesting things from the Thrive Market presentation, was that when they were turned down by investors, they went to these influencers and got them to buy in and got them to invest and really feel engaged in their story.
I think it's when it all works. I thought it was an excellent example, and I love Thrive. And I think we're just scratching the surface on the idea that these faces and people that have a legitimate point of view can really partner and find deep relationships with brands that will work.
Well, it sounds like we've got some more content starting on the main stage, so thanks so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.